Hey, my loves. Welcome back to Jill's Journal, entry number 4. I am really loving doing these with you guys. I'm really loving it. I'm really loving just being able to riff on anything and everything. I'm happy to go on tangents. Not that I don't go on tangents in my other episodes, but I have a flow. I record a lot of them all at once. I do them in advance because that's just what works for me with my podcast. I have kind of a schedule because I'm going to be launching and stuff like that. We're still keeping things businessy on this end, but this just gives me a lot of freedom. And I really love audio, which I didn't think I would ever say as somebody who stutters. I always talk about that, how I started my coaching business because I was I'm going to be able to never talk at all because I stutter. And joke's on me, I'm literally a public speaker, being a coach. I've talked about that before. Not realizing that I'd be on podcasts and doing guest speaking gigs and going to networking events and stuff like that. But Youniverse had other plans for me. I responded, so that's fine. Guess I'll suffer through my life being an entrepreneur. I'm just kidding. We're not suffering over here. We are thriving. Anyways, so I'm really loving doing these episodes with you. And it is Thursday, June 2nd. And the third entry of Jill's journal came out today, and this is the fourth entry that I'm recording for you right now. And the reason why I'm recording it so early is because I just had a very spiritual experience in the Embodied Woman program. And this is a self-love and healing program by Stevie Wright. Stevie is somebody who I have followed for a couple of years, since 2020. I actually unfollowed her for a bit, and then I re-followed her again, within the last 6 or 7 months. Within the last I would say a year actually. But the reason why I started following her in 2020 was because of one of my best friends wanted a life coach, and when she showed me who she was looking at, I was like, ooh, she has a lot of followers, because I think she had 15,000 or something at that point. She's a lot more now. But I was like, whoa, she has a lot of followers. She probably charges a lot. And that's not always the case, but in a lot of cases that's true, especially if it's an established coach who's been working up their audience for a while. It just makes sense in the coaching world. And she was like, oh, I really hope not. And yeah, it was $15K for 6 months. And she was like, holy fuck, who the hell would charge that? And I was like, excuse me. But so she didn't end up working with her, but I stayed following Stevie. And Stevie does a lot of breath work, energy healing, stuff like that. And that is a big part of my business. And she does a lot of feminine embodiment. And I am a masculine gal through and through, especially with my businessy side of things. I have a lot of things around work ethic, productivity. I'm always overworking myself. I'm on that end of the spectrum, and leaning into my femininity and into my relaxed receiving, receptiveness mode is something that I am always working on, really balancing that feminine embodiment, and also being in harmony with that masculine driven side of me as well, and just kind of balancing those things. And that was on my vision board. Not her program specifically, but I had it in my mind when I was thinking about, okay, I really want to focus on feminine embodiment this year. So I decided to join the Embodied Woman, and it was amazing, life-changing, so good. And actually in the From Imposter to Empowered program, we're going to be doing a lot of breath work and energy work. It is going to be coupled with the strategy and the mindset and the science and all that stuff. It's a beautiful mix between the woo and the science and the thought work and the feelings work, you know what I mean? And it's going to be a really amazing experience. So I hope you guys are staying tuned about that. And I will be dropping, oh my God, I just remembered that I'm going to be dropping the waitlist soon for that. So I'm super excited to get that to you guys, because the program is going to be fucking unreal. Anyways, okay, so I'm in that program, right? And it was our last call tonight. And during our session in breathwork, we did about we did about every other week we would do a breathe. And it's usually a very deep breathe. I usually move through so many emotions. I resolve so many things. It's really amazing. And let me tell you that the spiritual side of me is something that I have unlocked, but tentatively. And it is something that, because I have always struggled with imposter syndrome and unworthiness, I never knew if I was receiving intuitive downloads or if I was making stuff up in my head. And because I had an environment and people around me who are very in the material world, they're materialistic in the sense of they only focus on what they can see, right? I was like, yeah, like I'm crazy if I believe in God or talk to God or whatever. When I was a little girl, I think I've talked about this on the podcast before. I would go down in our forest. I called it my magical forest. I had unicorns, and it was in the like front yard of our house. And I would go down there, and there was this little like a clove. Is that a word? A clove? I don't fucking know. But there was this little like part of trees that I would talk to God in. I would go in and I would sit in there and I would talk to God. And we weren't religious. I went to a public school. There was no reason for me to know why I was talking to God, but I did. And it's really sweet, actually. As you guys know, my childhood home burnt down. My parents still lived there, and so did my sister. She had moved back home because of the pandemic. But it burned down, and then my parents had to live with my grandparents. My sister had to live with me, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the story at this point. But my dad actually preserved my magical forest, and he actually put steps down into the magical forest because with the new house being built that they're now in and it's beautiful, they're doing all this new landscaping and filling in a whole shit ton of land, but he actually preserved the one area where I used to go and talk to God, and it's actually like super super sweet that he did that. But yeah, weird kid, strange child. And so I used to talk to God. I felt like I always knew things. I had very high empathy as a kid. Like I remember just like looking at somebody and like knowing what they were thinking and feeling, and just like feeling so like feeling a lot for them. Also, was I a person that experienced times where I felt like I had to emotionally manage people and all that stuff? Yes, but I also feel like I am intuitive, and I was able to pick up on things that other people didn't. Sometimes I would think to myself that event's not going to happen, or this is something that's going to happen, and it would. And I really lost that. I talk about this in my book that's coming out soon. Oh my god, guys, I have so much to tell you. My book, You're Not Special, is coming out soon. I'm in the process of currently having it edited, and then once that's done, I'm just gonna upload it to Amazon and do the whole thing, and hopefully that's smooth and it'll be in your hands if you order it by like mid-June. I don't know. I'm just like, I can't believe I'm gonna be an author, a self-published author. I am so fucking excited, and I've already started the second book. But anyways, so what was I saying? The book, oh god, I lost my train of thought. So I've always been spiritual, and I would always like receive, that's what I was saying. I wonder how many times you guys hear me go, oh, and then I continue with the thought. Did I just lose again? Holy shit. Maybe I shouldn't have done this at night when I've been working all day and I had a busy day with calls and showing up and doing all the things. But oh yes, I talk about this in my book where I believe that we lose our sense of worthiness and then we're on the journey to finding it again. And that's how I felt with my spiritual journey as well. I believe that I was put here to experience the spiritual journey to help women find their inner power and use their voice and like raise the consciousness of the planet. I truly believe that, and through that we have to do our own work, right? And that's why you'll never see me not doing the work. I'm always in a program, or I'm doing my mindset work, or I'm feeling my feelings. Like, I'm doing it all because it allows me to hold deeper space for my clients, right? So I just learned that my intuition, that my like knowing, my deep knowing wasn't right, and I denied it for a very long time. But as I got older and as I came into coaching was the catalyst for me to like change everything about myself and to really love and accept myself. It's more than just like a job for me. It truly has changed my entire life and my entire identity. One of my best friends in the world just got married. We've been BFF since we were 14. I was talking about that on the podcast last week. And she has always said to me, and she keeps saying to me, she'll be like, you are such a different person than even just a couple of years ago. She's like, you're so much more sure of yourself and confident, and I'm just so proud of you. And it's true, I am a completely different person. I still have a lot of like beliefs about myself and stuff I have to work through, but like that's the work, right? So I've been on this spiritual journey. And for those of you who don't know, I have been told by intuitives that I used to be a witch. And my stutter is actually a part of me being executed as a witch for using my voice. I think I've done some readings where I figured out it was because I spoke up about something, and there's like an angry man and I get executed, but I have a witch wound. And when we were in that breathwork session just now, I had this like vision of me by water, and at that time it was like lifetimes ago, and I was the witch, and I was by this stream of water, and I look back, and it's almost as if I choose to go back to the village and be executed. Like, I choose to go back. I had a chance to live, and something inside of me was like, I don't deserve to continue living. Like, I should go back, or I don't deserve to flee or to get away. And like, even just me describing it to you, like, I'm just getting like chills, because I saw so clearly in that moment, like, it's my choice whether I thrive or not. It's my choice whether I live or not. And I think about both of my grandmothers and my grandfather on the paternal side. They're all immigrants. And my Omi is my maternal grandmother, and she's German, and she was a part of the exodus of Germans to Poland during World War II. Don't quote me on that. Well, that's really terrible. It's in my book. But she was a part of that, and she had to grow up not having a ton of rights, and when she told her husband, who was my grandfather, who passed away when my mom was around like 11 years old, when she told him, I want to become a realtor, I want to go and like work, he laughed at her. And she didn't have the freedoms that I have. She didn't get to go and make her own money and do her own thing. She did have other jobs and stuff, but she couldn't pursue something that she truly was passionate about and loved, and like, she couldn't pursue her purpose. And same thing with my paternal grandmother, like, and my paternal grandfather. He, of course, he worked, he had a business, all that stuff. But my paternal grandmother, like, she raised my dad and his two younger brothers. And her purpose was in, like, the family. And I just think about, like, how much choice I have, and how much I am truly shackled by my own decisions sometimes, where I truly tell myself I don't have an option. Like, I can't do anything else. But that's not true. Like, there is always an option for me, and there's an always option for you too. Like, we are free right now in this moment. And me having that experience, again, I had the thought of, am I making this up? Like, it was just like, it was so clear, but then I almost started to like question it, but I was like, no, this makes sense. This makes total sense. How when I was a witch, I had the option to leave. I had the option to like run away. I had my freedom, but I decided to go back and thus be executed and thus be burned at the stake or whatever it was, right? I had the choice, and I chose to shackle myself. I chose to limit myself. And I'm telling you this because you are so much more in control than you think. And we tell ourselves, I don't have the money. We tell ourselves, I can't do this or I can't do that, or this person says I shouldn't, or this person doesn't believe in me, whatever it is. But like, your greatest limitation is truly you. And that is the whole premise of what I do, is I help you see that when you decide that you're worthy and when you decide that you're good enough, you can create amazing things. You can do fucking anything you put your mind to, but you can also love yourself and accept yourself. And that is the most beautiful thing. That's all the things that we're striving towards. But then you get to create a life full of purpose. And for me, that looks like helping you grow a business so you can make your own money, so you can fulfill your purpose, helping raise the consciousness of the planet and helping show your daughters and your sons, like, if I can believe in myself, if I can change the trajectory of my life just by my thoughts and me deciding, so can you. Like, we have so much power in that. And again, like, it's just like, it was so clear to me. I was just like, this, like, that is why, like, I don't even know how to explain it. I was just so shocked. I was just like, this is huge for me, that I had this experience, because I always knew I was a witch. I always knew I was executed. I always knew that's the reason I had the stutter, and that my purpose was to come into the world and help share my voice and help others share their voice and speak up for themselves. And I was just like, but there's more. There's more than just this. And I found it. And that was that I can either choose to be free and be liberated and choose the fact that I am deserving of life and to thrive and to enjoy my life and to have freedom, and that the only limitations are in my mind. The only limitations are me and the things that I'm telling myself, because as a witch, I told myself, go back. Like, for some reason, I wanted to sacrifice myself or whatever. And it's not honorable to sabotage yourself. It's not honorable to sacrifice yourself, because you are the most important person in your life. And your kids are important too, don't get me wrong. But like, a happy mom, happy parent means for a happy kid. And I just had to say that because I think that's super important. But yeah, it was very crazy. I feel very blessed to have that experience, and that is what breathwork will do. It speeds everything up. It speeds up your healing. It speeds up the like integration, and that's why I'm pairing it with the thought work and the subconscious work in the From Imposter to Empowered program, because it allows you to integrate and embody all the learnings and the lessons at a deeper level, and it helps you get the fuck out of your head and allows you to create new neural pathways and create safety in your body. Like, it is just the most magical experience, and you can get a fucking massive transformation, breakthrough. You can go into your past timelines and heal ancestral wounds, and you can do all of that in like half an hour of fucking breathing deeply. It is wild. So that's what I had to tell you guys. I really had to record this now because I was just like, I can journal on this, or I can do a Jill's journal episode and share it with the world. So I'm really glad that I got to share that with you today. And we're gonna pivot slightly because I wrote an Instagram post, but I want to share it on here about how to sign a soulmate client this week. So kind of pivoting, but like, I hope you feel like amped up from that story and feeling like, yes, my purpose is here. I have to stop shackling myself. I have to stop limiting myself. Okay, so how you're going to sign a soulmate client this week. I call the potential clients soulmate clients because I believe we have contracts with people. I believe that there are people that you don't even know of, that you haven't even met yet, that are going to be your clients, and how can they find you if you don't keep going, right? There are soulmate client contracts out there for you that are going to come to fruition, but you have to stay the course and you have to continue on this adventure so you can have your clients and have your abundance. It's kind of like how everybody says the abundance and the money that is for you, you will never miss it. You just have to feel worthy of it to receive it, but it's already yours. It's already yours, and so are the soulmate clients. So a couple things that you're going to do to sign a soulmate client this week. The first is you're going to do a highest self check-in. Are you being the best version of yourself? Are you thinking and acting like her? And where can you realign? This doesn't have to be difficult. It can just be checking in and being like, oh yeah, I think that my highest self wouldn't be constantly overthinking and checking the analytics for the applications, you know what I mean? My highest self would be going for more walks. My highest self would be journaling more in the morning. Okay, so realign with your highest self and check in with her. Clear your sales energy. So what I mean by that is, if your soulmate client was ready to buy today, what would you say? Sometimes we get caught up in saying things like, oh, my ideal client has to wait a long time to work with me, or my ideal client doesn't have the money right now to work with me, and we get caught up in those loops, and then we subconsciously start like speaking to those things, like speaking to objections that we think other people have. So clear your sales energy and ask yourself, if my soulmate client was ready to buy today, what would I say to them? What would I talk about on my stories? What would I talk about in my posts? What would I say? Number 3 is sell the result. What are you promising them? Sell the result. If you have a result, which is something like, I help you heal your inner child, okay? Something like that. I have a client who that is her result, right? And if you are not saying that every day, if that is not the basis of your pitch, if you are not saying that in your CTAs, you need to sell the result. Like the analogy with the airplane and Hawaii, and the airplane commercial, it's not the airplane, it's usually the customers in Hawaii, because you want to show the destination and show how you're going to feel and how it's going to look like when you achieve that result, instead of just being like, but we're going to do this and we're going to do that and la la la. I think that it's good to talk about the process, but sometimes people focus too much on the process, right? So sell the result. Number 4 is to make energetic space. So envision this ideal client on your calendar. Play around with what your week would look like with them in it. Put it on your payment calendar. I have one, and I have it up on my board, and whenever I'm making room for a new client, which by the way, I'm taking 1-to-1 clients, so book a sales call at the link in my bio. Whenever I have a room for a client, I'll put it up somewhere on the calendar and I'll highlight it pink, because that's the color of all the payments that are coming in. And I'll look at it and I'm clearing that energetic space for them. I'm thinking about, oh yeah, so I have time on my calendar at this time and it would be great for an ideal client, make space. I have clients who are like, I don't have time to write content, or I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that, and what they're subconsciously telling themselves is, I don't have time for clients. They're trying to actively sign clients, but then they're telling themselves, I don't even have time to upload an Instagram post or to journal in the morning. And it's like, bitch, if you don't have time to do those things for your business, you won't have time for a client call, right? So make sure that you are making energetic space for the soulmate client to be called in. Just need some water. And lastly, release any resistance to signing new clients by changing or clearing beliefs on why you can't, or why you feel unworthy. So releasing resistance means, do you say you want clients, but there's actually a belief that you don't think that you'll be able to, or do you think you're charging too much, or do you think there's no value in your services? These are all subconscious blocks and thoughts that are running in the back of your mind as you go to show up, as you create your programs, as you sell your programs, and they are going to affect how you market. And of course, that's all the work that we do in one-to-one coaching, releasing all of that resistance and the mindset drama, so you can have amazing healing and breakthroughs, and so you can sign clients and scale your business. That's all that I do. So book a sales call at the link in my bio for one-to-one coaching. Keep your eyes peeled if you're interested in group for the From Imposter to Empowered program that is coming soon. The waitlist is dropping soon, and you get to save $111 if you enroll within the first 3 days of our launch, which will be happening in July. And last and not least, I am speaking at a spiritual entrepreneur event. It's called Youniverse, Youniverse, and I am one of 10 international speakers, and I'm going to be talking about imposter syndrome and worthiness. So I'm so excited to do that, and I would love you guys to come and join, and you're going to get so much value. It's a 5-day event with speakers from all over the world. It's going to be epic. You're going to get so much value out of it. And you can go to the link in my show notes and grab a ticket for that. Okay? God, this was a good one. I love you guys so much. And if you are feeling the pull to work with me, please book a sales call and we will chat. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you use your voice. Nothing makes me more happy than like results that don't even include money. Like, of course, I'm so happy whenever one of my clients signs clients or when they make a fuck ton of money. I'm obsessed with that, but I'm also obsessed when they have like a killer fucking breakthrough, or when they feel so worthy and good enough, or when content is flowing out of them, or when they feel like I can really do this, like I can run this business full time and have an amazing successful coaching business, you know, like it just fills my heart up. Okay, so I love you so much. Hope you loved my witch wound story. I love you guys. I'll see you next week.